Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. For those new to the channel, my name's Sean, also known as Film Guru, and I started this channel to have my same particular movies and a variety of film content, so thanks for joining me today. Sorry it's been a while since I've done a video. There just hasn't been a lot of things I really wanted to talk about until now, until this film, which I really enjoyed. Today I'm reviewing Smile. This was directed by Park Finn and stars Sosie Bacon, Kyle Gallner, and a variety of others. The film follows Dr. Rose Cotter, played by Sosie Bacon, a psychiatrist. After witnessing the death of a patient in front of her, Rose starts to experience frightening occurrences that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins taking over her life, Rose must confront a troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. I really like this film. This is one of the best horrors I've seen in some time. I just really thought it was really well done and really well captured. Everything about it was really great. I felt that was a really tight written script, that everything served a purpose. I thought it was wonderfully directed, and it has one of the best sound designs I've heard in a horror film probably since the Insidious films and Drag Me to Hell. It sort of becomes its own character, which I really loved, and there's a power to it. I love the way this film is shot. There's the great use of camera work here, and especially at the start and the end when Rose starts to experience these strange things. The camera does this great pan where it pans to show you the shock or the horror or whatever it might be, rather than a jump scare. And I really loved that. I thought that was fresh and unique and interesting. And you don't always see that, especially in today's horror films, a lot of jump scares. Don't get me wrong, this film does have those. And I wish, part of me kind of wishes that it didn't, but it still is effective with what the film's going for. I really like the setting. I love the story and the concept of Smile and what it is, and sort of when we get to see what this thing is at the end, this sort of creature, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, a spirit, whatever. And it's kind of interesting when it's revealed, but there's something they did with it in regards to size, and I didn't really like that to begin with, but I can accept it because I really enjoyed every other aspect of this film. As I said, I think it's wonderfully directed. I think Parker Finn's done a fantastic job directing this. A director I haven't really heard much about, but I really loved what they were able to bring to this film. I really like there's a creepiness and eeriness to the film that sort of is fantastic. It sort of immerses you in it. And it sort of really puts you inside Rose's head, and you start to hear things and see things as she does. And there's things in it that you're not quite sure if they're real or not. And to Rose, that she's not quite sure either. And these scenes are really fantastically done. There's some really wonderful what they're able to accomplish here. And visually striking. And the design of the thing itself that we see at the end is really great. The puppeteering, the practicality to that is really good. And I just like this heightened feeling that throughout the film, you never quite what's going to happen next, and whether what you're seeing is real or not. I love that aspect to it. I thought all the acting was great. Kyle Gallner's really good here. You know, he was in Scream 5. He's also done a variety of other things, and he started in Veronica Mars. But I think he's really great. He's become a really interesting actor, and I think he's solid here. He's not in a lot of a film, but he's in the important parts of the film and has a presence, and I like that. But the real standout here is Sosie Bacon. This just shows how talented she is, and that she is as talented or even more talented than her parents. And I love that. I've been watching her in a variety of small roles, and this is her first real sort of lead role, and I think she does a fantastic job with it. When she starts to slowly question her sanity, it's really well acted, and you can tell she's really struggling and going through it, and it really makes her very believable when she's going through these things, and it's because of her as an actress. And I think she brings an interesting presence and a variety of very interesting things to the film. I loved all her scenes. I loved that when we start to see her losing her mind. I love her going back and looking at her troubled past and trying to make sense of things and trying to work out what needs to be done and how she's going to survive and overcome what's happening to her. I really love that. I like this aspect too, where no one sort of believes her. She starts saying all these things, the things she's seen and experienced, much like her patient did before she killed herself. And no one really believes her. No one really really accepts what she's saying, except for the Joel character that Kyle Gallner plays. He's the only one, that's someone from a little bit from her past, and he's the only one that sort of takes it on board and tries to help her, and I like that. But I always like horror films where no one believes the person and then they start to see it for themselves, and I think that's great. I like how this sort of spirit, whatever you want to call it, latches onto troubled people, to pain, to guilt, and latches onto that person and sort of harasses them until they give up, and I love that. There's so many great things about this film. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a really great audience going into this film. They were all immersed in it. They were quiet when they needed to be. It was kind of a packed cinema, and everybody felt invested in it. It felt like the first horror movie where everybody sort of was really part of what was going on and was more interested in what was going on in the movie than they were looking at their phones throughout the film, which I find in a lot of other horror films. Final thoughts. In the end, it's really a film about looking at dealing with troubling past and past pain and accepting who you are and sort of letting go of the things you feel responsible for or guilty for and how that impacts you from a child into an adult and how people try and overcome that. I'm going to give Smile 4 out of 5. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great horror film. Highly recommended. I really loved this. I have seen comments and reviews of people who didn't like it. They thought the ending was shitty. I think everything in it was very effective for the film they were going for, and it was executed wonderfully, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Letterboxd and Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.